In the riverside village of Amachuro, nestled between the dense jungle and the winding river Ase, there lived a powerful juju priest named Karigbolo. He was feared and respected by the villagers, who believed he possessed supernatural powers. Karigbolo's son, Komboye, was being groomed to take over his father's position as the village's chief priest. The villagers would often gather at the riverbank to watch Karigbolo perform his mystical rituals, which included sacrificing animals and chanting incantations to the river gods. Komboye would assist his father, learning the intricacies of the juju rituals. However, things took a dramatic turn when Komboye met and fell in love with a Christian woman named Mien, who had recently moved to the village. Mien was a beautiful and kind-hearted woman with a strong faith in God. Despite their cultural and religious differences, the two got married, and Mien began to share her faith with Komboye. As Komboye learned more about Christianity, he began to question his father's beliefs and practices. He eventually gave his life to Christ, which enraged Karigbolo. The juju priest saw his son's conversion as a betrayal and a threat to his own power and authority. Karigbolo vowed to destroy Mien. Blaming her for leading his son astray, he began to spread rumors and lies about Mien, telling the villagers that she was a witch who had cast a spell on Komboye. The villagers, who had always feared and respected Karigbolo, began to turn against Mien. They would mock her, call her names, and even throw stones at her whenever she walked through the village. One day, as Mien was walking along the riverbank, a group of villagers confronted her. "You're a witch!" one of them shouted. "You've cast a spell on Komboye." Mien tried to reason with them, but they wouldn't listen. Just as the situation was about to escalate, Komboye appeared, his eyes blazing with anger. "Leave my wife alone!" he shouted, standing between Mien and the villagers. "She's done nothing wrong." The villagers backed off, but Karigbolo's eyes narrowed, his mind plotting his next move. As the days passed, Karigbolo's anger and hatred towards Mien only grew stronger. He became more and more obsessed with destroying her, convinced that she was a threat to his power and authority. One night, under the light of a full moon, Karigbolo gathered his followers at the riverbank. They were dressed in their traditional ritual attire, their faces painted with white chalk. Karigbolo stood before them, his eyes blazing with fury. "Tonight, we will finally rid ourselves of the witch who has been plaguing our village," he shouted, his voice echoing across the river. "We will sacrifice her to the river gods, and they will grant us power and prosperity." The villagers cheered, their voices rising to a frenzied chant. Mien, who had been hiding in her hut, was dragged out by Karigbolo's followers. They bound her hands and feet, preparing her for the sacrifice. But just as Karigbolo was about to slit Mien's throat, a brilliant light illuminated the sky. The villagers shielded their eyes, momentarily blinded by the intensity of the light. When they opened their eyes again, they saw an angel standing before them. The angel's wings were spread wide, its eyes blazing with holy fire. "You shall not harm this woman," the angel declared, its voice like thunder. "She is a child of God, and she shall not be sacrificed to your false gods." Karigbolo and his followers cowered in fear, realizing too late that they had crossed a line. The angel reached out and touched Mien's bonds, and they fell away, freeing her. As the villagers watched in awe, the angel turned to Karigbolo and declared, "You have been weighed in the balance and found wanting. Your wickedness and deceit shall be punished." With that, the angel vanished, leaving Karigbolo and his followers stunned and terrified. Mien, freed from her bonds, stood tall, her eyes shining with gratitude. The villagers, realizing their mistake, began to disperse, abandoning Karigbolo and his wicked plans. Karigbolo, enraged and humiliated, stormed off into the jungle, vowing to exact his revenge. But Mien knew she was safe, protected by the power of God. She returned to her hut, where Komboye was waiting for her, his eyes filled with tears of joy. "I was so scared for you," he whispered, embracing her tightly. "But God is faithful. He has delivered you from the jaws of death." Mien smiled, her heart full of praise. "Yes, he is faithful," she said, "and I will never forget this day, this moment of deliverance."